This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. Yeah. So now the other command, the next commands are nothing but archiving, so zipping and unzipping of files. So here in our Linux, we have two types of commands to archive the data. So one is straightforward command, zip and unzip. The second one is TAR. So TAR is the oldest one, and now the latest is the zip command. So we'll see how to archive the data with the zip and how to archive the data with tar command. TAR. Right, so here let's take any directory. Suppose ls. Here we have a directory called Python. Now I want to zip this directory. So now straight command is zip. Sometimes sometimes on the mission, if you are not able to find the zip, so if I enter the zip, if the zip is command, zip utility is there, then you are going to see the help. Otherwise, it will show you the zip command is not found. The zip is not found. So by that time, we need to install it. That's it. So if something is not available, then install it and use it. So by default, we are going to see all the available tools and commands. Sometimes we are going to see on different OS flavors. By that time, simple install and use it. Okay. Anyway, we'll see how to install the tools and softwares in our next command. So now here, so zip, and what is the name you want to give for the zip file? So now I want to give the name as python.zip and the source. Right. So now here your zip name and followed by the source. So now my source is Python directory. Let's see what happened here. ls. You can see a .zip file is created. Now I want to see the Python, whatever the Python directory, cd Python. Let me go to the Python. Right. So there are n number of files and some kind of folders. Two folders are there, and n number of files are there. Whether all the content is archived or not. Usually zip means it is going to compress the data, right? So it is going to decrease the size. It is going to reduce the size. So now whether the first thing is whether my python.zip is having all the data of the Python directory or not. So now here what I will do. So already the directory is available. So if I try to unzip it, it won't give you the details because the directories exist. So that is the reason I'm going to change the Python directory name to some other name so that I can unzip it. So move can be used to cut and paste or rename. So I'm trying to rename the folder Python to some Python one something. Now try to unzip it. So now unzip. To unzip, simple straight away command is unzip. To zip. That's it. Straightforward commands. Then the zip file name. So python.zip. Right. So now it is extracted archived from the archive to unzipped. So now here let's see ls. You can see the Python directory from the zip. Now go to the Python ls, nothing is there. So now here when you are trying to archive any folder, I mean to say any directory with the zip command, it is going to archive only the parent, not the childs. That is the reason here you can see stored 0%. Only the parent folder only archived. But here archive means not like that, right? You require all the data, not only the parent. So there again, the same funda always when you are trying to deal with the directories, recursive -r. Wherever the command is, when you are dealing with the directories, -r has to pass. Here also the same. So now I am going to remove the Python directory. Fail to. Okay, I am in the Python directory, right? So let's come back and rmdir Python. I have deleted the Python directory. Now I am going to delete python.zip also. It is not required to delete, but I'm trying to run the command again. That is the reason I'm trying to delete it. Yes, ls. So now try to archive zip the Python again. So zip Then here -r, the option -r has to be used recursively. So now the file name python.zip, then the source. Now see, the complete data is archived. So now this is the proper way. So ls, now here I can see python.zip. Now I'm going to delete it because already I have the archive. So now rm -rf python 1. So now try to extract, unzip it. So now unzip python 1 dot python dot ls python 1 ls. You can see all the data. Like that, the zip command you can use to archive the data, but when you are trying to deal with the file directories, there -r has to be passed. That's it. Unzip, straight command, unzip and the file name.
Shankar, hi.
So,
One question. Sorry.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
Yes.
we are unzipping python.zip, right? So once after
Correct.
the unzipping is done, we can still see the python.zip.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So usually, in our Windows also, yes,
Yeah, it's
if
the
you are
same.
trying to unzip anything, same, right? You are going to see the unzip also. Correct. The same only.
Yeah.
So now here, yeah, yeah. Then the next command, archiving the data without using the zip and unzip. TAR command, traditional old command, tar. We are going to see this command widely actually because the files are going to compress with the tar only, the majority of the files instead of the zip. So now here, how the files can be compressed and how the files can be extracted with the help of TAR command. So now in the TAR command, we are going to use options when you are trying to compress or when you are trying to extract it. The options are C, V, F. We are going to use the option C, V, F. C for we are going to tell the tar command, I would like to create a tar file. C, create. V for verbose. If something is failing, some issues while trying to archive the data, what is the issue? I want to know, like a log information. That can be, if I use the -f, then it's going to give the information. If something is failing, verbose, useful one. So now now the tar will be support multiple formats. One is .tar format and the second one is .gz gunzip format. Now two formats is going to support tar format and gunzip format. So now when you are trying to archive the data, we are going to tell I am going to archive in the tar format or I am going to archive in the .gunzip format. So how the tar command will know? When you are going to pass the f, the file, sorry, not the f. By default, with the extension, it will come to know -f for the file name, not for the format. So now C, V, F are the options we are going to use, and X, V, F are the options to extract. X for extract. Remaining two are same, verbose and file name. Right. So now here, so when you want to archive the data with the help of tr command, so now here what I'm going to do, the same python one I would like to archive with the help of what is called tar command, tar hyphen options create verbose file. Now what is the file? Python dot tar and source python 1. That's it. Now it's going to archive. So ls hyphen l, let's see here the size, the tar is taken huge amount of size when compared to zip file because the zip is the latest, the modern one, and this is the old traditional way. So now here we can see now I have a tar file and I have a zip file. So now let's try to extract it. So now right, so already python 1 is exists. So now I am trying to extract, is going to throw an error. So that is the reason I'm going to delete python 1. Then I'm going to extract. To extract tar hyphen x, v for the optional options, x is the mandatory extract. What you want to extract? Python dot tar. ls. We are going to see the Python, cd Python ls, same thing. So no difference here. Both are going to use it for to archive the data and extract the data. The one is zip command, the other one is tar command. So now with the tar command, not only simply archiving and extracting, we can use some kind of options also. So now here the some kind of options are nothing but without extracting the file, I want to see the content, right? So now here I want to see the content inside this zip file. Not possible. It is not possible. I need to extract it. But yes, with the tar command, I mean the tar command means with the tar file can be seen without extracting. Can be seen means the content can be seen inside the tar file. Whatever the data is there, I want to see. Yes, we can view the data. For that, you don't need to extract it. But in the zip side, no, you need to extract it. So now how can I see the data of the tar file? So now tar-t. T is the option to view the data of the tar file python.tar. Right? See, you can see inside the tar file without extracting, I can view the data. One of the option with the tar. Likewise, right? So usually, once I created a zip file, then later on I want to add some other files also into the zip file. It is not going to accept. Again, you need to create a new zip file by including the new content. But for the tar file, even though you have created a tar file, later on you can add the data into the tar file. You don't need to create a separate tar file for the new content by including the new content. A kind of option, right? So here, if I want to add a file inside the tar file which is already exist, tar -append -append and the -append file is the option. So now here, let's see. ls. So I have a sample.txt file. I want to append it. So tar -append file equal to sample.txt into python.tar unrecognized option -append. Okay. So man is the command here in the Linux to see any command help man. Then if I want to say the tar command, so C for archive, T for view the list of all files, X for to extract, and here default A for append tar file, -capital A. Many options is available here for every Linux command. So, a huge amount of options. I'm going to search for any examples is available. Okay, fine. So let's see. Tar -ar incompatible with the -f. Right. So now here A for append, F for file, sample.txt. So now let's try to see it. tar-tvf, then python.tar. So that I should see the sample.txt also inside my tar file f. Instead of c, it is f. Anywhere the sample.txt file is added? No, right? Yes, here the sample.txt. Right. So likewise, even though the tar file is created, you can, if you want to add the data, you can add it. Likewise, I want to extract only this file, not the entire tar file. That is also possible. You can extract a file from the tar file. You don't want all the setup, all the files. That is also possible with the tar command. So to extract a single file, then the file name has to be passed, whatever the file you want to extract it. Right, so here I want to extract the file Python 1 inside the Python 1 if.py. So now here tar to extract, x is the command option, vf, then your tar file name is python.tar and the file name is inside the Python 1 if.py. Now see, Python 1 created here. Now if I go to the Python 1, it is not going to give the entire list, simply going to, I think it's already there. Let me remove it, rm-rf Python 1. Okay, I have removed the directory. So let's try to extract only the single file. Now ls cd Python 1 ls. We are going to see only one file. Right, I don't want all the files. Simply I record only file. That is also possible with the tar command. Like that, we have plenty of options with the tar command. Right. So here those few I have given here, and this is most like what I can say. These commands are enough. I mean, say these options are enough. We don't require to learn all the options. Then the other format. The other format I want to create gunzip format. Right. So as I said, the tar is going to support two formats. One is the .tr file. The second one is gunzip format. So now here, if you want to create a gunzip format, no big difference. Simply the same options we are going to use. C for create, V for verbose, F for file, and my file name is python.tar.gunzip. At the end, we need to pass the gunzip gz. Then our what is called Python, whatever the source. Right. I think I am already in the Python one. That is the reason it is not allowing me. Let me come back. So let me remove this one because this Python one is having only one file. So I want to take the complete directory. So unzip Python 1.zip. I got the entire setup. I mean this entire content. Now I'm going to create a file tar-c vf create verbose file, then python dot tar dot gunzip, then my source ls. You can see a gunzip file is created. So here no big difference you are going to see, but the format here tar and here gunzip format. So likewise we can have multiple formats with the tar. One is gunzip and one is tar file. So no big difference. Simply at the end we are going to pass .gz. Right. So this is the main. These are the two commands which we are going to use to compress the files and to extract the compressed files, zip and unzip. So this is the old one and this is the new one. Right. So now the next commands: installation of softwares, the packages. Right. So now here, if you want to install anything, a tool or a software, a package, anything. Right. So now here there are two things. One is if you want to install, installation is the package management. Right. So now here sometimes what you are going to do, you are going to download from the internet, then you are going to install. So now download is nothing but some other commands. We'll see the other command. So now here when I say package management means you are going to download or you are going to install the software into the machine installing. So now if you want to install, on my Linux machine packages. So now based on the flavors, the commands are going to change, the installation commands. So now here if my system is running with Red Hat or CentOS flavors, then we are going to use yum command. Yum. If my machine is running with the OS Ubuntu or Debian, then here you can see apt-get. So these are the two widely used commands. OpenSUSE, for the OpenSUSE, Zipper is going to use okay. Right. So here the OpenSUSE, that one Zipper is the high level tool. So now the package for the package management, the low level tools we are going to call as RPMs for the zip for the OpenSUSE and CentOS, and DPKG for the Debian, and the derivative means the Ubuntu or something. DPKG. This is the low level tools. So when the administrator from the OS level of administrators, they are going to create the packages for their softwares, right? So those softwares will be built with the package management tools called these low level tools. This is a huge concept, creation of packages. But right now, we are not into that administration side. So we are not going to bother about the packaging and other stuff on the OS level. So simply we are going to utilize the OS and we are going to set up our process. So there we are going to use the high level tools, apt-gets and yum and zippers. So now here, if you are trying to install a package from the compile, nothing but the low level tools, the Debian packages or the RPM files, then based on the OS, we are going to use the particular low level tools. If we are going to get the files in this format, .deb.rpm, then for the rpm -i, then the file name, so that the package will be installed. For the Debian, if the package format is .dpkg, then dpkg -i and the file name. So if the file formats are ending with this deb or rpm, something like that, then the packages. So with the high level tools, if you want to install any packages, then these are the commands we are going to use. So now let's see here. So now with the high level, if I want to install any tool, suppose so now here I want to set up Apache. Apache is a web server, right? So Tomcat is a web server. Nginx is a web server, right? So web server's purpose is to deploy your applications so that people can communicate. People can communicate means people can access the application by using the internet. By using the internet, there the web servers are going to play the vital role, right? So now here I want to deploy an application. So to deploy an application, I require a web server. So now my web server is Apache. I want to take the Apache web server, right? So now here the Apache web server you want to take, then first thing is you require a mission, a server. Now I have a mission. This is my mission. Now this mission has to be converted into the web server. The mission has to be converted into the web server is nothing but install the respective softwares on the mission, so that the mission is going to convert into the web server, right? So now here what the softwares you want to install? Software in the sense the packages, nothing but if I want to convert into web server, nothing but Apache web server, then install Apache on the mission. If I want to convert into Tomcat, then install Tomcat on the mission. So likewise, just whatever you want, install it. So now here install means the command, high level command. Now our mission is Red Hat mission, Amazon provided Red Hat mission. So there yum is the command. Then to install is the option. Now install, then what you want to install? I want to install Apache. So by default, Apache name will be HTTPD from the Red Hat side. If you are going to go to the Ubuntu side, there you are going to see with the name Apache. So now based on that, the names are going to change. So now if you are not confident or if you are not clear, simply Google it. So what is the Apache package name for Red Hat, or how to install Apache on our CentOS mission? Straight away you are going to get the commands. So now here yum install Apache, install is the command to install the packages into the system with the help of yum. Now enter. Now this is the size it is going to install. Give S, enter. That's it. So now the Apache is installed. That means now my mission is running with Apache. So now here I want to see whether really the Apache is running or not. How we are going to confirm? Try to access the Apache from the internet, nothing but from the browser. Right. So now here the first step will be any right. If any service I'm trying to install, now the thing is install the service and start the service. Right. So now the installation part is done. Now starting the service, working with the service. So now here service is the command. Service is the command to perform the operations or to perform the actions. The actions are nothing but start, stop, restart. These are the actions. So what are the actions you want to perform on the service? Then the service, then followed by the service name. So now here my service name is HTTPD or package. Then followed by the action. So now I'm not sure what are the actions are available. Try to give a shortcut. Try to give any letter and enter, so that it is going to show you what kind of actions can be performed. These are the actions. So now here first I want to see the status, whether my Apache is running or not. Then service name, then followed by the status. You can see here inactive, dead. Right. So now here I want to start the service. Now action is start. So now here service HTTPD start. Now redirecting something, then try to see the status again. Now see here the Apache is running. That's it. So now here simple commands like yum command is for to install the packages, service command to perform the actions, start, stop, restart, status, like that. So now my Apache is ready. So now my mission is a web server, which is nothing but Apache is running on the mission. So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the IP, public IP, and I will go to my browser. I will give Apache by default is the port number of 80. So now you don't require to give any port number because by default will be 80. So now simply give the IP and enter. Right? See here the Apache default page I can see. Right. So like that, if I want to install anything simple, the command is yum on the Red Hat side or CentOS side. Yum install. In the same fashion, if I want to remove it, then yum remove. Right. So before going for the remove, I would like to show you some other options which are not covered in our yesterday class. So now here, now the service is running. I want to stop the service. If you want to stop the service, there are multiple ways to stop the service. The first one is by using the service command. Service name stop. Now it's trying to stop. Now try to see the status. It is dead, inactive. So now here start. Now started status. It is active and running. So now here let's see the other way. Right? So yesterday we have seen the command called process finding command. What are the processes are running? Finding in the sense what are the processes are running in our Linux machine, right? Process information, PS.
Yes.
Correct, right? So PS-EF is going to give you all the running process information. Correct. So now here I want to see my particular process called Apache, so that I can use grep, then HTTPD. Enter. Now here you can see multiple records are nothing but the indication. Multiple records are nothing but the indication is it is running. Apache is running. So now here, by using the ps-ef command, I want to stop this particular Apache, right? So now here, the one is with the help of service command. Sometimes what will happen now, even though you are trying to stop with the service command, this is we are going to call as a soft stopping. So now here, even though you are trying to stop the process with the help of service command, it is not going to allow us because some other resource are going to utilize these resource services. Due to the reason, it is going to lock. Due to the locking, it is not going to allow the service command to stop it. There, we require to stop it forcefully. Right? If you want to stop the service forcefully, then the service command is not going to applicable. There, we are going to go with the process command. Usually the practice is. So now here ps-ef, then I can see the grep and the http I can see here, right? But here there are n number of entries like 5 to 6, right? Childs are there. Let's see, suppose I am trying to stop the Apache 7822 process id 7822. I want to stop it there. If you want to stop any particular process with the help of ps-ef command, there we need to kill that one. We need to kill the process ID so that it's going to stop the process. What are the process running? So now to kill any process ID, then kill is the command. Kill process ID. So now here my process ID, suppose I'm going to take 7822. 7822. Enter. Now try to see again the command. Still I can see the Apache is running because these are all the child process. So even if you kill the child, it's going to create one more child, the parent. So that is the reason 22 is killed, but it's going to create one more. 22 is gone. You cannot see the 22, but it created one more because the parent is still active. So means you need to kill the parent. We need to kill the parent. So now here, this is the guy parent root. This one has to be killed. In the Apache, this guy is the parent. So now let's try to kill the 7821. So kill 7821. Now try to run ps-ef. Gone. So now service HTTPD status inactive. Like that, we can use kill command to kill the particular process by using the process ID or the service command. First we'll go with the service. Even though it is not allowing us to stop, then we'll go with the kill. Right. So now here, sometimes even though you are trying to kill the process ID by using the kill command, it is not going to allow us. There again, we are going to use forceful killing. So for the forceful killing, kill -9 the option, then process ID. -9 is for to kill forcefully. Kill forcefully. So this is the other way to stop any process. This is the soft and this is the forceful stop. Right. So now then let's go to our yum command again. So now here yum install package name to install any package on Red Hat or CentOS. On Ubuntu app install package name. This is on Ubuntu. Most widely used OS systems, OS flavors, these three. Right. So now here, simple, the M will be replaced with the app for the Ubuntu. So now here, I want to delete it. I want to delete it means I want to remove the package. I don't want Apache anymore. I don't require. So now to remove the packages, yum remove HTTPD. That's it. So that is going to remove the Apache. Likewise, we can remove the package by using the command yum with the help of option remove and followed by the package name. If you want to install any package, yum then install, then followed by the package name. Right. So these are the commands we are going to use for the installations. And if any package is having the extension RPM, then RPM-I. We'll see in our line next in our classes. We are going to see the RPM stuff also. I think we have seen in our Jenkins installation the key. Yes, right. So there RPM is the one, right? Because this is a tool, low-level tool we are going to use to install the packages which are ending with the extension with the DEB or RPM, something like that. Right. So now these are the next slide is going to explain right about the service starts and stops. So now here we are going to see based on the OS flavors on Ubuntu, we are going to see the command as systemctl. On our Red Hat right now we have seen this one. Service name and actions. Here service name, the command systemctl, then action, then followed by the service name. Slight difference here. Here service name and action, here action and followed by the service name. When you are going to use the systemctl, nothing but on the Ubuntu missions, Ubuntu flavors. We are going to see the Ubuntu flavors also in our upcoming classes, in our another tools also. We'll see the Ubuntu flavor also. So then we have one more way to handle the services. Apart from the system provided default systemctl service, nothing but etc initd. So now this is one more way of handling the services. So now here if I go to the directory cd etc initd ls. So now here whatever the services are there, those services can be handled with the help of etc initd. So now here etc initd Jenkins status. See here, or service Jenkins status. Spelling is wrong, right? Service. Both are same only. So now here one more way to handling the services, nothing but the etc initd. But here the thing is now, under the etc initd, whatever the services available, those you can handle it. So now the Jenkins is available. That is the reason I can use etc initd, then followed by the service name, then followed by the action name. But it should be present inside the etc initd directory. It's a simple command. The next one is a simple command, service and so now here by using this one also I can perform the actions, status, start, stop, like that. Or this is the traditional way, normal way. Like that we can have etc initd to handle the services also. But the service should be present inside the initd directory like this. So this is one more way. So then we are going to go to the next section called communication between the servers. Right. So I want to communicate. I want to communicate the other servers. Why should I communicate? Right. So usually when you are dealing with the production environment or the QA environment or UAT environment, we are going to see huge amount of servers, n number of servers, like hundreds of servers, thousands of servers. Suppose I have 100 servers. Now here 80th server is failed. 80th server is having some issues. Now we need to go to the server and we need to see the issue. Means check the logs and figure out the issue, then try to resolve it. Now some other day 70th server is failed. Failed means some issues. Right. So now here you cannot go each and every system and log into the system and do the troubleshooting. So there what we are going to do from the same server. Same server means from the same mission. Nothing but from your workstation. From your workstation, you are going to connect to the server, the remote server, perform the operations and come out. You don't need to go personally to the system and connect it. From where you are there, nothing but on your workstation. From the workstation, you can connect any servers. So not only from the workstation here, one server trying to connect the other server, or one server connection with the other servers. So those are nothing but the SSH communication. So now here, usually if I want to connect any server, right? If you want to connect any server, the mechanism will be one is username and password. Right. So now connecting of a server, the mechanism will be using the username and password. Right. So now our laptop, right? those are we are going to connect with the username and passwords. But when it comes to this production servers, we cannot rely on the username and password because the password is a certain limit like 8 characters or something, right? So there is a chance of hacking. So now here I need more security, right? When you need more security, there the one more method, the mechanism is there, that is but nothing but the secure shell mechanism, SSH. We are going to call as a SSH mechanism. So now here, what the SSH mechanism will do, it will try to connect one server to another server with the help of SSH keys. So now this is my server 1 and this is my server 2. So now the server 1 wants to connect with the server 2. So now here, if I want to connect with the other server, the mechanism one is username and password mechanism, right? But this is not the successful one because this is not having that much of security. So there is a chance of hacking. The second one is SSH mechanism. So under the SSH mechanism, so how the communication is going to happen? It is going to have a private key and public key, right? So now here the username password mechanism simple, like it is going to use the username and password and connect the other server. When I'm going to go with SSH, then it is going to use private key and public key. With the help of this keys, it is going to establish the communication, right? So now here how the SSH key is going to work. So now here when I want to work with the SSH keys on the source machine, we need to have a user. One user has to be created. Now the user is to have a private key and a public key on the source, right? So now this user is trying to connect the remote server, means the same user should be exist on the remote machine also, so that the username is going to match on both the servers. So once the username is matched, then it is going to use the private key and public key for the communication, right? So now here, whatever the private key and public key we have generated here, now for the user, the public key has to be copied on the destination server. That's it. So now here on the source machine, create a private key and public key. Then whatever the remote machine you want to connect, then on the same machine create a user, the same user, then copy the particular user public key on the remote machine, so that the SSH mechanism will use this private key and the public key and is going to establish the communication for the particular user. So tomorrow I want to connect some other server. So now here you don't require to go to this server. Simply from where? From here you can connect the server. No specific communication is required. Simply you can connect the server. Only the thing has to be taken care here is, right? So now here on this mission also we require the user, same user, then we require the public key, like that. So like that, whatever the missions we want to connect on the destination, on the remote missions, we require the user, the same user, and the whatever the public key is created here, the public key has to be copied. So that's it, deal done. So likewise, if you have 100 servers or 1000 servers or lakhs of the servers, simply copy in all the servers the public key and the user, create a user, then use the SSH mechanism to communicate. So right, so now here the SSH mechanism. Yes, Rajesh.
Sorry, one doubt. You said like
Yeah,
the user and public key should be same on like the public key should be copied from source to destination, right? And the user
correct.
also. So which user is
Correct.
that? Is it a root user or?
Yeah, no. We are not going to use the root users. Root is admin, right? So we are going to have a separate users like Rajesh, Shankar, or
Oh,
a
okay, okay,
common, okay, or a common user. Suppose Rajesh and Shankar belongs to the Devops folks, and they are working for the
okay,
same project. So now instead of
okay,
creating a separate keys for the Rajesh and Shankar, we are going to create a user called Devops. So
okay,
now this Devops, now here, this is the mission for the Rajesh, and this is the mission for the Shankar. So
okay,
now here the Shankar also this guy also DevOps guy and this guy also DevOps guy. Now Shankar, from the Shankar laptop, he wants to connect the server. Right. So now here we are not going to create a separate private key and public key for the Shankar. So whatever the key is created for the Rajesh here, the same private key I am going to pass it to Shankar also. I will give the private key to the Shankar so
Okay.
that the, the Shankar will use the same private key. I'm going to give it through the mail or something. I'm going to have the same private key.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Shankar. Yeah.
Right? So now the public is going to come like that. So this is one way of like based on the project. Or else create a separate keys for each user. Like Rajesh is going to create a separate keys and his public key is going to copy here. Likewise, Shankar also going to create a private key in public key. Shankar also is going to copy the public key. Separate keys. Separate keys for the separate users. Then they are going to connect. Or a same only one set of keys and use the keys on all the users and try to connect. Multiple ways you can handle it. Right, Rajesh?
Yeah, Shankar.
Hello. Okay.
Yeah, Shankar.
Yeah. So now here, yeah. Okay. So now here, so this is the way of this is the process for the SSH communication. So now let's try to establish this SSH communication and see how the communication is going to happen between the servers. So now here I required one more server to see this communication. So what I will do, I'm going to start one mission here. Get instance start. Let me start some other mission also so that we can see the same thing on the other server also, the communication. Okay, right. So now get the Git is started. So now here I'm going to connect this Git, the other machine, copy, and this is my source machine. Let's take this is my working station and this is my remote server. Okay, the first step is on the source machine. On the source machine, we require a user. So let me see cat etc pss wd. Right, Apache is there, Rajesh is there, Jenkins is there. Right. So now here I'm going to create a user called Shankar. So now here to create a user add Shankar. The home directory exists, right? So now user delete -r Shankar. Home Shankar is not owned by any right. User is not exist. So let me go to the home directory. Then let me remove the Shankar rm -rf Shankar. Now user add Shankar. Okay, see here that is the problem actually. So because I have not used -r option while creating the user Shankar, that is the reason only the user is deleted but not the rest of the stuff. Still the mailbox is having the user. Okay, fine. So let me create some other user. So now user add Devops. So now I'm going to create a user called Devops, then PSSWD Devops. I'm going to set up the base password. Why I'm going to set up the password? I will explain. So now enter the password. So now here the password also I'm going to use Devops. Devops. So now on my source machine, I have created a user called Devops. So right. So now the first step, the user is ready on the source. So now here I require the same user on my destination. So now here what I will do, I will go to the destination cat etc pss wd. Just I want to see whether the DevOps is exist or not. No DevOps. Now user add DevOps. Setting in the password also here, password DevOps. 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 So now on the both the missions, on my source as well as on my destination, I have the user ready. User is created. Now the next step is on the source mission, we require the private key and public key. So now go to the source mission. So now this is my source. Now here, for whom the private key and public key is required, the user, whoever the user is created on both the servers, for the same user, we require the private key and public key. So now here I have created a user called Devops. Now I require the private key and public key for the Devops user. Right now I am on the root. Now switch to Devops, then create a public key and private key for the Devops. Now to switch the user, SU, correct? Then Devops. Right, once you switch it, default you are going to see the previous owner, the previous user directory, home directory, simply cd enter, so that it will comes to the new user. Now I can see home DevOps. Now I am with the DevOps user. So now create a private key and public key for the DevOps user. Now to create a private key and public key, the command is ssh hyphen keygen. Keygen is the command. So now this SSH keygen is going to create 2048 length private key. Very huge. You cannot hack it. You cannot hack. So now we have next level of key. 3000 plus key is available. For that, if you want to, this is the default. If you want to have the 3000 plus key hyphen t, then the length 3000 something is there. We need to pass it. But anyway, I will 2048 is a very huge one. So we'll go with the 2048 character length one. So now here's the simple SSH hyphen keygen. So that is going to create a private key and public key for us. Just hit the enter. So now what the SSH keygen command is going to do? It is going to create a public key and a private key. So now here it is going to create a private key. ID underscore RSA is the default name for the private key. So now where the private key is going to create? Under the home location of the user. Inside the home location of the user, it is going to create a hidden directory, right? Because dot means hidden. .ssh directory is going to create nothing but the hidden directory. Under that is going to create a file called id underscore rsa, default name. Now you want to go with some other name, your user defined name. I want to give some other name, not like id underscore. Suppose I want to give DevOps private key. Give the name like that. If you want to have your own file name, give the file name, or else the system is going to take the id underscore as the file name. Let's go with the system. I don't want to give my any file name. Simply I'm going to hit the enter. So now here, when the moment we hit the enter, automatically the .ssh directory will be created and the file also will be created. Now here it is going to ask you the password, so that we can have two layers of authentication. One is the private key and public key verification, and the second layer is password verification. Likewise, you can set up two layer of authentication by entering the password. So now here I don't want to go with the two layers, nothing but the password authentication. Simply I am good with the SSH. Then simply leave it. Don't hit anything here. Don't enter anything here. The same, yes, leave it. That's it. So now here, once you hit the enter, then automatically the public key also will be saved with the name id underscore rsa dot pub public. Id underscore rsa is the private key. Where these files are located, both are in the hidden directory called .ssh. Now see ls-a .ssh, cd.ssh. You can see private key and the file which is having the extension. The name is pub public key. Pub means public key. Now try to open the file. Just to want to see the content, what is there inside the file. cat id underscore rsa. Very huge file, 2048 character. You cannot hack it. Right. So now here you can see private key is going to start here and private key is ending here. This is the private key. We should not share to anyone, otherwise the other person can misutilize your credentials. Right? They can connect to any server by using the private key. Right. So now this private key always should be under your user. under your user. So now the next step, we have the user ready on both the servers, and for the user private key and public key is created on the source machine. This is also done. Now the next step is copy the public key into the remote server. So now here there are multiple ways to copy the public key. One is safe copy. Safe copy is nothing but by using the command. With the help of the command, copying the public key from the source to the destination. Copying the public key from the source to the destination. Right. So now if we want to copy the public key from the source to destination with the help of the command, the first thing is the command. What are the command we are going to use? SSH copy ID is the command. So this command we are going to use to copy the public key from the source to destination. Right. So now here the copy ID command requires the authentication. Correct. This command has to be connected to the remote machine. Once the command is connected, then the copying can be done. If I'm not able to connect the server, I cannot copy the key. Right. So now here, right now we are trying to establish SSH mechanism for the communication. Right. So now here, as of now, the SSH is not going to work. Now, if the SSH copy ID command wants to connect the server, how it is going to connect? With the help of username and password. This is the authentication we are going to use only one time. The purpose is just for the copying of public key into private, public key from source to remote. Once the copy is done, then simply are going to disable this username and password mechanism. Got it? So now here, when the public key, I want to copy the public key from the source to remote with the help of SSH copy ID command. The SSH copy ID command requires the authentication to the remote server so that the key can be copied. So now how this command is going to connect with the help of username and password, because as of now this mechanism is not enabled, because for this mechanism only we are going to copy the key. So now we will go with the default mechanism username and password. This is the mechanism you are going to use only for to copy the public key, not for the communication. Later on, once the copy is done, then you are going to disable it, then you are going to use the SSH mechanism. Right. So now here, if you want to copy the key, there we require the username password authentication so that I can copy it. So for that, we require to change some configuration file so that the authentication can be done with the username and password. Otherwise, we cannot use the username and password mechanism to communicate the servers, because by default, the cloud AWS servers are not going to support the username and password mechanism to connect any servers. It is going to support only the SSH mechanism. By default, it will be disabled. Now here, I am going to use the copy command. The copy command requires the authentication. For the authentication, I am going to enable the username and password. That's it. Simple funda. So now here, to enable this username and password mechanism, so there we require to change one configuration file. Right. So the configuration file is nothing but SSH configuration file. SSH service configuration file. So where I can find this SSH service configuration file? So that will be every configuration file you can find under etc directory. Right. So now this Devops guy is a normal user. He will not be having the sufficient privileges to modify the configuration files. So for that, what we can do? Simply switch to the root. Go to the root. So now the root will be having all the privileges. With the root command, with the root user, try to perform the operations. So now ct etc, then ssh is the folder. Inside the etc, you are going to find the ssh folder for the ssh service. Enter ls. Now here we are going to see n number of files. In the n number of files, you are going to find a configuration file called sshd configuration file. This file has to be modified so that I can connect the other servers with the help of username and password. Right. So now here let's modify the file vi configuration file. Then here there are n number of configuration properties. You are going to see the port number 22 for SSH default. the listening address, something like that. Let's scroll down. Scroll down here. You are going to see a property called password authentication. As I said, all our AWS cloud instances are not going to support the password authentication. They are going to support only the SSH mechanism. That is the reason you are going to see no password authentication. No, they are not going to allow. But here I want to go with the command SSH copy command to copy the key. The copy command is required authentication. That is the reason I am going to change it to no to yes. I am going to comment out. Hash is the option to comment any line here. So now I have commented the no and I have enabled the yes by removing the hash command. That's it. Then save the file. Right. So now I have modified the configuration file of SSH service so that you need to restart the service so that the changes are going to apply immediately. Now to restart the service, now you know service command as service. Now the service name for the SSH is SSHD is the service name. Then restart. Right, because I have modified the configuration file. Right. So now here job done. The job is nothing but modifying the SSH configuration file. The purpose is the communication to the other servers with the help of username and password. Here the purpose is to copy the public key. Since the SSH is not enabled, we are going to use the username and password mechanism to copy the public key into other servers with the help of the command called SSH copy ID. Now let's go to the user called Devops, sudo Devops. Now I am with the Devops user. Now try to use the command SSH copy ID and try to copy the public key into the remote server. Right. So SSH hyphen copy ID is the command. Right. So which server you want to connect? Correct. So I want to connect my remote machine. This one. Right. So now here if you want to write what is the server IP here? Your remote server IP. Right. I have selected the server. Then let's go to public key, copy the public key, then go to the source machine. Right, which server you want to connect? I want to connect the server, nothing but this one. Fine. Who is the user? Right, which user you want to connect on the server? Which user I want to connect? I want to connect the user called Devops. At the right. That's it. So now here, now this Devops user from the source is trying to connect to the Devops user of the destination. Then this SSH copy ID, once the communication is established between the source and destination, this SSH copy ID command will take the public key of this user and paste into the server, place into the server. Enter. It's going to give the finger scanning yes. Now here you can see permission denied. Right. So the permission is denied because the password authentication I have modified on the source machine. Right. So now here I have enabled the password authentication on the source, but it should be the on the remote, right? Because from here I want to connect. Here to there I want to connect. Here the password authentication should be enabled, not here. By mistakenly I have enabled it. Okay, fine. So let's enable the password authentication here. The main part is here. We need to enable the password so that this guy can connect with the password. Right? By mistakenly we have enabled here, right? So let's go to the remote machine and open the password authentication, right? So vi etc ssh then sshd underscore config. Same thing. Let's go to the password authentication variable and here I'll change it. Somewhere here, user address, authentication, password. Yes, here. Password authentication, here you can see no. Here I'm going to change it to Yes. Save it. Service SSHD restart. SSHD restarted. Right. This has to be changed on the remote version, not on the source. On the source is not required because my target is remote version. But we have done on the source actually. Right now here I have modified the password authentication. Now here let's go and try to run the command again. Now it's going to ask you the password because I have enabled the password. Now this password is not the source password. This password is the remote password. On the remote mission, the password for the user. Right? I have given the same password both the source and destination to avoid the confusion. So DevOps. Enter. Password is wrong. DevOps. Enter. Now here you can see number of keys are added. Right. So now here successfully the communication is happened between the source and destination. Then the with the copy id command is copied the public key into the other server. Let's go and see. So now here I will go to the destination server, nothing but the remote server. Then here switch to the user DevOps cd ls-a. Here we have not generated any private key and public key on the remote mission, right? But when the moment you have run this command, automatically this guy is going to create a .ssh for the user DevOps. So now let's go to the .ssh ls. There we are going to find a file called authorized underscore keys. This is also automatically created by the ssh copy id command. So now here cat open the file. There you can find the public key. Whatever the public key is there on the source mission for the user DevOps, go to .ssh ls cat id underscore rsa .pub. The same public key you are going to see here. No difference, right? That is the concept of SSH. So now once the public key is copied, when the moment we are trying to connect the other server, the remote server, it is going to match the private key with the public key. Then the communication is going to establish. Right? Let's see. Now the connection. Now the copy is done. Public copy is done. Now disable it. Go to the SSH file again. Then change the password as no. We don't require anymore because the copy is done. So now here try to connect the server. To connect the server SSH, then the username DevOps and the IP address. And this is my IP address of the remote. Enter. Right. So here you can see 216 is my current mission IP and 148 my destination mission IP. Right. So now here, if I go to my destination mission gate, now it's not going to show the public key. It is going to show the private key 148. 148. Right. So now we are not going to go to the remote missions to connect it. Simply from the workstation from the server wherever you are in, from that mission I am going to connect it. Now try to perform the operations. So now the operations are about touch. I'm going to create a file touch devops.txt. I'm going to create a file here. Now I can see the file is exist, right? So now I'm on the 148 server. Let me come out, exit to come out to the source. Now the connection is closed. Now I went back to my source mission, right? From the source I switch to the destination mission. There I have performed an operation called create a file. Then I came out. Let's go to the destination server here, and I'm the DevOps user ls DevOps.txt file is created. Right. You don't require to connect it separately. Simply from the source, from the local or from the workstation, we can connect any other server with the help of SSH mechanism. Right. This is one way. This is one way. The communication between the servers with the help of SSH. Right. So now the mechanism is same. The mechanism means we require the user, we require the private key and public key, and we require a user on the remote, and we require the public key of the user into the remote. This is common. Now the process, the copying of a public key can be done in another way also. The copying of a public key can be done in another way. So for that, we don't require to go to the SSHD service configuration file and change the password from no to yes, then restart the service and use the SSH copy ID command. Manually, we can do it. Automatically, the process will be taken care by the command. Now here, you don't require to run the command, simply you can do it manually. So now here, what I'm going to do, I will try to connect the other server which I have started, Nagios, and connect it. Copy, then try to connect the server. So now this is some other server I'm going to connect. Yes. Cat etc psswd. No DevOps user is there, right? So I'm going to create a user add DevOps of psswd. Now here I don't require the password DevOps also, so I'm not going to use the password authentication and blah blah blah, right? So now here I have the user called DevOps. So now let me see whether the DevOps is created or not. Yes, the DevOps is created. So now here let's switch to the user DevOps, su DevOps. Cannot cd to DevOps. Okay, for complete user is not created, I think. So maybe this is the reason of this is not the CentOS mission. So add user is one more command, DevOps. Okay, I think it's already there. User del -r DevOps. Okay, so now here I think this is the Ubuntu server. There, these commands are not going to work. Let me see. Let me take the Red Hat mission so that we can see in a proper way. So what I will do, web server Nagios. Let me start the server. Try to connect this server. Connect. So this is also Ubuntu. I think all of Ubuntu servers I have taken. Let me take the Sonar. Anyway, it is not like Ubuntu is having a problem. We can deal with the Ubuntu also, but the command user add is not going to support on Ubuntu. There, the some other command will be there, like add user something. So instead of googling that stuff, simply I'm trying to search for what's called here. The same OS mission. Now let me connect to this server. EC2 user, right? So EC2 user is there. Copy, then try to connect it. Now create a user called DevOps. Switch to the user DevOps. I am in the DevOps user. So now here, as part of the process, what the SSH copy add command is performed is, it went to the user called DevOps, Now inside the DevOps user, it created a .ssh directory. So now here I am not going to go with the command. I am going with the manual. So now what I'm going to do, I switch to the user. There I'm going to create a directory called manually everything hidden directory called .ssh. Now ls-a. Then I will go to the .ssh. Now create a file, the same file, authorized underscore keys. Now go to the mission, switch to the .ssh, then try to create the file authorized underscore keys. Now vi open the file, then whatever the key is available here, open the file, and what are the keys available. Careful, copy all the stuff, don't miss anything here. Then go to here and paste it. Now save this. So manually I have done everything. So now here let me take the IP address of this machine, then go here, try to connect it. Permission is denied. The public key is not having the sufficient privileges. So ls-la authorized underscore keys is having read write permissions here, and okay, here ls-la, right? So this guy is having the right permission group. So here only the owner is having the read write. So let's change the permissions. chown, sorry, not the owner, right? chmod, and only the owner should have read write 6. The rest of the two folks should be nothing, 00. Authorized underscore keys ls-la. Now all the read write, right? So come back to the .ssh. Let's see, ls-la .ssh is having read write for all. So now let me go to here and come back ls-la read write x only for the owner. So let me change this stuff also here. chmod 700 for .ssh ls-la read write x, right? So now the same permissions I have applied on my the remote machine. So now here try to run. That's it. Now see, connected. So now 55 is nothing but the private IP, not the public IP. Let's go here and see sonar 55, right? So now here we are not modified any sshd configuration file, right? So that we don't require to enter any username and passwords. But the thing is here we need to carefully done this operation. Carefully means, right? So the proper permissions has to be given, and we require to create the .ssh directory. Under that we require to create a file called authorized underscore keys and provide the required permissions. This is entire is our job, and also copy the public key from there to here manually. Everything is manually, but ssh copy id will take care everything. Just you need to run the command. Now up to us, up to you, how what is a comfortable way, go with that. There is no restriction. If you are comfortable with manual copy, just do the manual copy. Just try to give the proper permissions. If you are comfortable with the ssh copy id, then go with the ssh copy id. Both the ways, right? So now this is the way of communicating the remote servers from a single machine. The single machine can be a separate server or your workstation, anything, right? So likewise you can connect. So then In the SSH, we have another command, nothing but copying the content. This is the process of connecting the servers, connecting the remote servers. Then my requirement is I want to copy the content from one server to another server, copying the data between the servers. Now the data has to be copied securely. I want to copy the data securely. There, SCP is the command. From the SSH side, secure copy. Secure copy is the command to copy the data between the servers. So now the syntax of SCP is SCP and the file and the host and the path. Right. So now let's go here. Right now on my remote 55, this is the server. On my server, as of now, nothing is there for the home DevOps. Now I want to copy a file from my workstation. So now right now here also I'm not having anything. Now I'm going to create touch shankar.txt. Okay, so sorry. So already I am on the 55 server. Come out. I think here the file will be created because I already connected. So I'm shankar.txt. Now nothing is there. So now here I came back to my workstation 216 ls. Nothing is there. Now here try to create a file, touch rajesh.txt something. So now this file I want to copy from my source to destination. So SCP is the command. Then what is the file you want to copy? I want to copy the file Rajesh. Which server you want to copy? I want to copy the server here, my sonar mission, nothing but the 55 colon. Where you want to copy? I want to copy into home DevOps. Inside the home DevOps, I want to copy the path. Where you want to copy? Which the file and the remote server and the path. Enter. See, 100% the file is copied. So now here go to the remote server ls register.txt. So likewise, we can copy the content between the servers by using secure copy. From the remote to your local. You want to copy from the remote to your local means just reverse it, SCP and the remote here, and your local path, your server path, local mission path. Likewise. So whatever the content you want to copy from the remote mission, provide the remote mission details, then give the what's called the local path. So just give me a second.
Okay, Shankar.
Yeah, so vice versa. So likewise, we can copy the content from the local to remote or from the remote to local, like this. So this is the SSH mechanism. So with the help of the SSH mechanism, we can communicate the remote servers. The remote servers can be 1 mission or 100 missions. The same process we need to follow. And also the SCP command will be used for to securely copy the data between the servers, the SCP. So yeah, so these are the command, Rajesh. So we'll stop it here. So
Okay, Shankar.
one more class, nothing but hardly it will be less than 1 hour. These are the straightforward comments from the 39 to 50. Or else if you have a like if you can spend for 30 minutes now, we can close it, Rajesh. What do you say?
No, that's yeah. I can stay. I can stay. Not a problem, Shankar.
Not a problem, right? So let's continue,
Yeah,
Rajesh. So that
if you are fine, then
yeah.
that's not a problem.
So let's continue because now hardly it will take half an hour. That's it.
Yeah,
Right.
Shankar, one
Yeah.
doubt here with the
Sure.
communications. So when we want to connect to a destination, we are copying the public key to the destination, right?
Correct.
So if a destination want to communicate with the source, the same way we need
Correct.
to copy the public file of the destination to the source.
Correct. So here the destination server wants to connect to the source.
Yes.
Only the simple funda which you need to remember is always we require a private key on the source machine. Now
Okay.
here when the destination machine wants to connect means now this destination machine becomes the source.
Okay.
This guy will become a destination, correct? So now
Yeah.
on the source, where is the private key? That's it. That point you need to remember. Right.
Okay.
So now as of now we are treating this mission is a source. That is the reason we have placed the private key. So now
Okay.
this is reverse. Means this mission become a source and this mission is going to become as a destination. So now
Okay.
the source mission is required the private key. So means this guy, whoever the user we are going to use, we require to create a private key and public key for this guy. Then
Okay.
copy the public key here. Suppose the same user we are trying to use means copy the private key here also. Simple.
Okay. Okay. Just a
Got it?
private key is enough.
Yes. Like how we copy the public key in the same fashion, take the private key and place it here. So that from here also you can connect, from here also you can connect.
Okay. Like a two-way communication.
Exactly. Two-way communication.
Okay.
Like that. Yeah. But usually this process is not going to happen because this is our local mission. My
Okay.
laptop, right? My
Okay.
workstation. No production server, no QA server is not going to not trying to connect to our workstations.
Mm-hmm.
Always you are trying to connect from the local workstation to the server. But yes, anyway, if you want to make the both way communication, yes, we require a private key and public key on the this mission, and as well as the private key and public key on the this mission. Then only the communication is going to happen.
Okay,
Okay.
Shankar. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then the next command, net start. Right. So now usually if I want to check whether the process is running or not, or a service is running or not. Right. So now two ways. One is the service command is going to tell you whether the particular service is running or not. The second way is by with the help of PSIF and EF command. Just now we have seen, right? The Apache. The Apache can be right. We have verified the Apache is running or not with the help of PSIF and EF command and with the help of the service. Now the third way of verification is netstat. So now what the netstat is going to do? The netstat is going to verify the particular port is listening or not. The particular port is listening or not. So now here I am in the some other server service. Let me come out root now service HTTPD status. I want to see whether Apache is running or not. As of now, the Apache is not there. Let me install it. Install HTTPD. This is some other server, not the previous one which we have used. So now start the service. Service HTTPD start. Correct. Now service HTTPD status. Apache is running. Now the second way, PS-EF, then grep HTTPD. Apache is running. Right. So now here the third way. Right. So now here, as I said, default Apache will be running on the port 80. Right. So now here netstat is the command. It is going to tell you what are the ports are listening on this mission, on this particular server. Right. So these many things. Complete. Netstat is going to give you the complete list. Like one address, state, some port protocol, receive queue, send queue, local address, something like that. So now here I don't require all the stuff, and this is the ports actually. And I don't require all the stuff. I want to see whether I want to see the listening port numbers. Because right, so now here this might be gone, established, then might be gone. This port number right now it is not using. I don't require this one. I require what are the ports are running at present on the server. So then netstat will be using the options -NLTP. Right. So now here when I give the netstat, it is going to give the local address and also with the foreign address and the other information. So now here what the system is trying to do is trying to search for the local address as well as the foreign address and probably the port number, something like that. It's going to search multiple options. Right. So now here whether I will go with the address or I will go with the port number, I will get the same result. So now there I don't require multiple options of searching. Simply I can go with the only one way of searching so that the performance will be faster. Right. So checking a record in one way or checking the record in multiple ways. Multiple ways means it will take some time in a single way when compared to a single way. Right. So like that also here it is going to use the address and it is going to use the port numbers to search it. So now here I'm going to skip one thing. I don't want to go with the address searching. So now to ignore, to skip the address searching, there -n is the option. So that is not going to go for the address searching. So then L for L is nothing but listening, all the listening port numbers, L for. And T for nothing but the protocols we are going to call as TCP protocols and UDP protocols, transmission control protocols, user datagram protocols. So now here there is a like it's a networking concept. So now when the request goes and is going to send the response. Right. So now here the TCP protocol will taken care of from the sending to receiving. So both the communication is happening or not is going to verify. That's what in simple terms TCP. When it comes to user datagram, it is not going to bother about the response. If the request is gone or gone, that's it. If the response is coming or not, is not going to bother about. So that is the reason we are going to see most of the protocols are TCP, because when the request is goes means I need to wait for the response, right? So there the TCP, that's why TCP are going to use widely. Wherever you are going to see TCP protocols only we are going to see, not the user datagram protocols. But there is specific reason there for the UDP also. But yes, widely we are going to use TCP. So then -n for don't go for the address search, skip it. Then L for listening port numbers, and TCP protocols. I want to use T for TCP protocols and P for port number. Right. So now these are the options we are going to use to get the listening port details. So now here I'm going to use netstat. Now here see out of all the list, now I can see only the running ports, right? So now here I want to see, even though in our production servers the listening ports may be huge amount of list, again I want to see only the particular service is running or not, means Apache is running or not. So now to see the Apache is running or not, here the with the port numbers, here we are going to search with the port numbers. Then I'm going to use grep. Then the default port number for Apache is 80. So grep 80. Yes, a entry I can find Apache. It is listening. This is one way of searching whether the port is running or not, means whether the particular service is active or not. Now three ways: service command, ps-ef command, and netstat command. Usually the netstat command is going to use for to see whether the particular port is running or not, right? So now let me go to the Jenkins server. Now this is our Jenkins server. Now I want to see whether the port 8080 is for the Jenkins default port, right? So whether the Jenkins is running or not. So now here netstat -nltp, then grep 8080. It is not going to show me anything, means 8080 is not running. So maybe my Jenkins, okay, I don't think this is my Jenkins server or not. Service Jenkins status, right? So ps-ef grep Jenkins 8090 is the port number. So netstat -nlp 8090. Yes. Okay. Here the name of the Jenkins here is showing as Java. That is the reason. Even though I tried with the Jenkins, is not giving the result. So right. So now here the netstat command is for the port number search, not with the service name search. Right. So the listening, the port is listening. Likewise, we can see whether the particular port is running or not on the server. Netstat is the command. Then downloading content from the internet, from the communities. Very useful command. So now here, if you want to download any content from the internet, wget is the command. Right. So now here, I want to download some content from the internet. Something I'm searching for something, not like a specific thing here. Searching for some content here. So now here, I want to download this file. So now this is the file path. So copy, then go to your server and wget and followed by the path. I think we have seen this one also in our Jenkins installation, right? So by using the wget command only, we have downloaded the
Yes.
content. So now see
Yeah.
this, right? So ls, like that. So anything if you want to download from the internet, the simple thing is wget command and followed by the path. That's it. No big deal here. Straightforward command. So then a troubleshooting command. Troubleshooting command we are going to call it a ping. So now usually sometimes when you are going to work with the production support, sometimes by the time, most of the time you are going to receive the request like the application is not responding, something like that. The customer is facing an issue with the application. They are not able to read the application. So now here what you will do, you are going to see whether we are going to be able to reach the server or not. First thing will be whether the server is up and running or not. Simply by running the ping command. So now here what the ping will do, it will try to reach the other server, right? So now here ping www.google.com, whether I am able to reach the Google or not. Now here the ping is going to send a bytes, a packets, network packets to the Google server. Then the server is responding. Then you are going to receive again the byte format as a response. So that is the reason is continually you are going to see the bytes are sending and receiving. Ping pong we are going to call it. Ping is sending a request. Pong means getting a response. So now when you are going to see this response means yes, the server is reachable. The server is reachable. So like that the ping is going to use. So now here the one thing is yes, the server is reachable. Then we are going to go for the application is active or not. Likewise, if you want to see whether the other server is reachable or not, simply by using the ping command. Simple command. Useful command also. Ping. Then here there is one more command called df. So df is the command to see your current server disk space information on the server. I want to see what is the space, what is the hard disk space, how much has been utilized, and how much is left. So df is the command. Simple. Now it's going to show us the file formats, and this is the hard disk information. Usually in the Linux, we are going to see the C drive, D drives here, XVDA1, XVDA2, XVDA3, like that, the hard disk information. These are the other files. So now here you can see our hard disk information, something like that, which is not at all understandable by humans. Some kilobytes format, something. So now if you want to see the human readable format, then df-h, h for human readable format. Now we can see it converted into GBs. Now the total size is 8 GB, right? We know, right? When you are trying to create a machine, there is going to show you the volume size is 8 GB as a default. Now 8 GB. Out of that, 1.8 has been utilized and 6.3 is available. Used percentage is 23%. Like that, df command can be used to see the hard disk space information. Right. So likewise, if I want to see the RAM information, you can see with the help of free command. Now free is going to go the same non-human like kilobytes format -h. Now here my RAM is 4 GB RAM, 3.9 is given. Out of 1.6 has been utilizing RAM, and here free is 1.7. Likewise, the RAM information can be seen with the help of free command, and the disk space can be seen with the help of df command. So likewise, there is one more command we are going to see, disk utilizations. So now this is nothing but here the file sizes. The file sizes can be seen with the help of du command. Suppose ls, go to our source, some other server. Here ls, there are some directories and files. Now I want to see all these files and directories sizes individually. Individually I want to see. So now du hyphen sh, enter, 428k. Du hyphen sh python 1, 56k, something is there. Du hyphen s starter txt, not like that. Du hyphen s Devops, nothing is there. cd python, so much content is there, right? You should come du hyphen sh python 1. Actually, it should show the Python. Inside the Python, the files also it will be displayed actually. So that's what I'm looking for. Du hyphen sh, then followed by the directory. It is giving only the total size of the Python directory, not went inside the what is called the folder. So let me see the options. Disk users, du. Like actually it should show something like that. Du. Okay, let me remove the hyphen sh. Du. So now here you can see in the Python 1, we have the Python demo and child. Inside the child, we have child 2. Inside the parent, we have child 1. Inside the Python parent, something like that. Each side, everything is empty. That is the reason it is showing us 000. Then total size is 56. So now here ls, it is not displaying it displayed only the file. Direct is not the files, right? So we need the files also. Here I can see .ssh. Now let's see the file section. -h, human variable format. sh, this is what? Okay, the sh is nothing but is going to show us total file. Okay, -a. Let's see -a. Yes, -a. Now here you can see all the files information along with the sizes 444 and total size. So likewise, if you want to see the size of a files and the size of a directories of a particular folder or a particular directory, like I want to see all the Python 1 content with the sizes du-a. The total size of the Python 1, I want to see only the total size, means there I can use -s. So -s is going to give the total size. Understandable format is H, human variable format, like that, 56k. So likewise, the disk user can be used to see all the files and folders information of a parent directory. The parent directory can be anything here. This is one thing, one command which is useful for us. Sometimes we require to verify file size information. So now here you can apply the wildcard character like if you want to see only the .txt files, only the .sh files, something like that, then you can use the wildcard character, something like that also. Now the partitions like C drive, D drive, E drives, like you here XVDA1, XVDA2, the partitions information if I want to see there, fdisk -l is the command. The disk partitions information, like that complete details you can see here. And out of that, XVDA is the 8 GB one, no other partitions. Okay, that partition information here you can see. So then the next one is here. Free is already covered, the RAM information and count. Right, so now here I have a file ls. Go to the Python one ls. Now here I have some file called suppose copy.py. Let me do one thing. Let me take our psw file. Copy cp etc psswd into current location. Now I have a file called pswd. Now I want to run the total number of lines. I want to know the total number of lines, total number of characters, total number of words of this file called psswd. Lines, words, characters of this particular file. Now total number of records are 30 records. Total number of words are 48. 1492 characters are there. I want to see individually. Just I want to see the records -l for lines psswd 30. I want to see only the words w 48. I want to see only the characters c. Like that. The word count. Word count is the command can be used to see the total number of records, total number of words, and total number of characters. WC command. Then this is the one. Now sorting the data. Sorting the data. Right. So here I have a file. We'll create some file to see the better way the sorting. So now touch or vi fruits.txt. Some file I am going to create. Here mango, apple, and grapes and banana. They are the records I am having. Mango, apple, grapes, and banana. Save it. Cat fruits.txt. Now I want to sort the data. Sort fruits.txt. Apple, banana, grapes, and mango. Right. That the data can be sorted with the help of sort command. Ascending order. Sort -r, then 5. Descending order. Mango, grapes, banana, apple. Right. So now here ascending order can be go with the sort command. Descending order can be go with the -r. But I want to reverse the data. Means banana has to become first, grapes should be second, apple should be third, mango should be last. No sorting, just I want to reverse the data. If you want to reverse the data, then to see the data, cat is the command, correct? To see the data. If you want to reverse the data, reverse the cat command, TSC, cat, reverse it, then fruits.txt. No sorting, simply reversing the data. The tag command is going to do. If you want to go with the sort, sort. If you want to reverse the data, reverse the cat command, tag. This is what the sort command. Then the final commands is nothing but comparison. Comparing the two files in our Linux. If I want to compare two files, then there are three commands are available. There are three commands are available in the Linux to compare two files. Let's see one by one. So now here I have a file called fruits. Now I'm going to create one more file. Copy fruits.txt to fruits 1.txt. Okay, I have created two files. Now I'm going to modify the fruits.txt. Nothing but I'm going to add one more record here. Litchi. and I'm going to modify fruits.txt here by adding some other record. Pineapple, something. So now try to compare the records. I'm going to see the files. diff is the command to compare two files. One is fruits.txt, then the second one is fruits1.txt. Right. So now here you can see in the fruits file, the unmatched record is pineapple. Right. This is present in the fruits, but not in the fruits one. In the fruits one, the unmatched record is lychee. Lychee is present in the fruits one, not in the fruits. Likewise, we can compare the two files and we can get the unmatched records of the file one and unmatched records of the file two. Simple command, straight command, diff. Then the other command. Comparing of two files can be done in three ways. One is the diff. The second one is COMM. So now what is the COMM here? The COMM, what the COMM will do here? Now my requirement is I want to see unmatched records of a first file, nothing but the fruits file, nothing but this one. I want to see unmatched records of the first file in a separate file. I want to extract unmatched records of the second file separately, and I want to extract matched records of the both the files. This is the output I required. But here you cannot see the matched records. You can see only the unmatched records of the file one and unmatched records of the file two, not the matched one. So now this is nothing but the matching logic. So the matching logic I want to see on the Linux side. Now there the com is the one which is going to work with this. So now here the com command requires the data should be in the sorted order. The data, what are the data is there in the files, the data should be in the sorted order. So now here I'm going to use the sort command. Before sending the inputs to the com command, I am going to sort the data fruits.txt, then sort fruits1.txt. Now we know redirectional operators, greater than and less than. Greater than is to write something into the files, less than is to read something into your command. So now this command requires two arguments. One is file one, the second one is file two. But the com command requires the data should be in the sorted order. That is the reason before sending the files as input to the com command, we are sorting it. Sort the file one and sort the file two. Now send as input. Send as input. That is the reason less than. Now this is less than will send as input, and this less than will send as input. Right. So enter. Now we are going to see the data will be something like that, which is not able to understand easily. Right. But here the data will be displayed in three columns position. This is the first column, this is the second column, and this is the third column. So now this first column is nothing but unmatched records of the file one. The second column is nothing but the unmatched records of the file two. The third column is nothing but the matched records of the both the files. Now people won't understand. If the command is going to known by the people, then only they will understand. Okay, this is unmatched of file one, unmatched of file two, unmatched. But for the new users who are new to Linux, then they are not able to understand what exactly this data is. So they split the data and place into some separate files. So there, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to extract the unmatched records of the file one, then store into some location, and extract the unmatched records of the file 2 and store into some location, and extract the matched records. Likewise, split the data, split the columns. So now further what I'm going to do here is I am going to use the options with the com command. Now the com command will be having the options 1, 2, 3, -1, -2, -3. So what the -1 and -2 and -3 is going to tell us, suppress, hide the column 1. 1 means column 1, 2 means column 2, 3 means column 3. Now suppress, hide the column 1, hide the column 2, hide the column 3. Now here the first thing I want to extract the column 1 means hide column 2 and column 3. So now here what I'm going to do, hide column 2 and column 3, so that I will get only the first column, nothing but unmatched records. Now I want to store into a file, write the data, write means greater than. So now here unmatched of file 1.txt written into the some file. So now I require the second column, means hide the 1 and 3, so that I will get only the second column 1 3. Then here I am going to use the file name as unmatched of file 2. Now I require the common records, match records, means hide 1 and 2, so that you will get the third column 1 and 2. Then give the some name match. So now I will give this information to my leads or managers, whoever is requiring it. So now open unmatched of file 1, cat unmatched of file 2, and cat match, like that. Like that, you can get the desired output. Unmatched records of the file 1, file 2, and matched records. This command will be done. We don't require to write any separate logics. It will take care of everything. And the last one is nothing but comparisons. In the comparison, apart from the diff, apart from the com, cmp is one more command. So now what the cmp will do, just is going to give you the byte information, where exactly, what is the location, where you are going to see the difference. That's it. So now here cmp, then fruits1.txt and fruits1.txt. Now here in the fruits1 difference, at the line 5, byte 27 is the byte. At byte 27 you can see the difference. It's going to show you the position, that's it. It is not going to show you the data. Shows the data. Now the data will be seen with the help of diff command or the com command. This is just is going to show us only the line and bytes information, like that. So these are the commands, Rajesh, which we are going to use most of the time. Again, this command, this comparison is also not going to use, but sometimes people are going to ask in the interviews actually. So that is the reason I have placed it. But yes, these 50 commands are sufficient for us in our day-to-day life. Okay, this NFS is not required. This is the on-premise setup, so we don't require any. We are going to see this NFS concept in our AWS cloud. How to set up the file system, this network file system. So you can speak to that. Okay, this is again administrative part actually. Right.
Okay,
so yeah. So any doubts, Rajesh?
no,
Are you
Shankar.
good?
Class was fine. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So yes. Okay. Then fine, Rajesh. So we can wind up our Linux here. So please
Yeah.
practice it. Okay.
Yeah.
So any
Sure.
doubts now? Yeah. Please let me know. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank
So
you,
yeah.
Shankar.
Then okay. Thanks, Rajesh. Then we'll meet on Saturday our regular class. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Chalo then. I will share the recording
Yeah.
within 30
Thank you.
minutes.